Okay, so we can get started. Okay, great. So, Beijing, you can share your screen. We can see your screen.
Can hear me. Okay,
I
you
can
can
hear
hear
you
me
now.
now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can share
Okay.
your screen.
1 second. In three, two, one. Oh, wait. In three, two, one. Okay. Share.
Okay, great.
Okay. Great.
Awesome. We can see it.
You can see me? Okay, great. So we can begin. So I'd like to welcome everyone to the Department of Greek Life and Student Leadership's Motivational Mondays. This is our first session, and we're so excited to have everyone show interest and wanting to be a part of this session. Today's session will focus on conquering anxiety, and our first presenter for this session is Beijing Rodgers. And so we'll get started with no further delay. And so I just read a brief biography of her. Let me just pull it up shortly. Okay, so Beijing is Bahamian born. She exudes love and light. She is known greatly for her humanitarian efforts in the Bahamian community and wider society through her numerous mission trips and creation of nonprofit youth-led organizations. She started It's Our Turn at the age of 12, and she utilizes her acquired skills to assist all human beings. She is a humanitarian at heart, from teaching and interacting and speaking rural youth in diverse countries, Latin America, the Caribbean, North America, and Asian countries. She continues to lead and participate in numerous efforts. She is passionate about her work. At 18, she decided that she needed to express her message to this brand national basis.
Excellent. What I would love for everybody to do before I get started, if you could take your audio off, just because I'm going to be asking a lot of questions, and I'd love your responses to those questions, because this is a presentation, but the best way to give a presentation is to give and take and to have a conversation. And since this atmosphere is much more intimate than it is with me standing on a stage and with a mic, it is easier for us to create and cultivate a safe space to, talk it out and share with each other. As I have been notified, I have 2 hours basically. I was like, what am I supposed to say for 2 hours? And so a lot of that is going to be a bit of chit chat for you and I to get to know each other better. So here we go. My presentation is on conquering anxiety. What a hot topic right now in this day and age. Before I get started, DJ already said who I am and why me. So basically, I am Beijing. You've heard all that good stuff that I've done in my 25 years of life. That I am no expert in mental health disorders. I just personally struggle with anxiety and some depression as well, which is crazy. I just found that out during quarantine. And so what I do with my YouTube, Instagram, and social media platforms, I help content creators dominate in mental health, self-care, spiritual growth unapologetically. Uh, and those are my socials, just in case you want to check me out. And I am in the process of getting my life coach certification in July, so that's really exciting. I want to learn more. But my goal in life is to be an example, not famous. I feel like a lot of people in our generation is seeking a bunch of fame. But not my goal. And wanting to be example sometimes puts myself on the line of fire, on the line of doing things that I'm scared of, like admitting that I have that I struggle with anxiety and sometimes depression. That's crazy. That is something that I also admitted for the first time on national television. That was not the plan, but things happen, don't they? I honestly wish I could see all of your faces. That's how I, feed off of you guys. But this is the new world, technology. So as I was saying before, please turn your mutes off. I cannot see if your mutes are off or not, just because I'm sharing my screen. But hopefully it's not, because it's going to be really silent when I ask a question and no one's there to answer it. So that is what I mean by let's get interactive, because it's going to be me and the 13 of you. That's what I can see, how many of you there are. It's working. Okay, so how many of you suffer from poor mental health? Can you just say me, or not me?
Me.
Okay, I heard 2 people say me. Okay, so just 2 of you. Anybody else in the 13 of us? Or maybe you don't even know people. Something like find out.
50-50.
Okay, 50-50. That's good. That's good. Excellent. So in our world today, we have a lot going on. There's a lot of tension, a lot of upheaval, a lot of anger that's really happening in our world today. So not just COVID-19, but the racism and the police brutality that is happening. That tends to weigh on our mental health, and the way we think, the way we behave, the way we act, and it really does affect us more than we expect it to. Um, so who agrees with that? There's a lot of global tension happening in our world.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And it makes, well, I don't know about you, but it makes me angry what's happening.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. So before we, head all the way down the line to anxiety, I just want us to cover, the steps to get to anxiety. So the overall umbrella, which is mental health and understanding mental health. Yeah. So mental health is our mental well-being. It's our emotions, our thoughts, our feelings, our ability to solve problems and overcome difficulties. It's our social connections, and basically just understanding the world around us in our brain. Does that make sense?
Most definitely. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Excellent. So we can move on. Beautiful. And if something doesn't make sense, I would prefer not to move on, so we can uncover it together. And again, I usually say this at the beginning, but this is the first time me ever doing like a speaking engagement or a presentation on Zoom. So you're going to have to bear with me. But no question is a bad question. We're all in this learning process together. And we can't even see each other. So don't even feel bad. You're basically covered behind the screen. And so am I. Okay, so no questions about questions, no comments about questions, respectful of our safe space that we've created together. Yeah? Hands up, even though I can't see them. Excellent. Okay, so what are some examples of showing good signs of mental health? That's a question for you guys. What are some examples of that? Now that we know what mental health is, what are some examples of showing good signs of it?
High self-esteem.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. Yes, self-esteem, because that's you thinking good of yourself, right? So yes, excellent. Anyone else?
A positive attitude.
Yes, yes, good. Is that Natesia? Natesia?
Naticia.
Yes, I said it right the second time. Natesia, yes, excellent. When you speak, I could see a name, so that's the most personal I can get with you guys. I don't know if you guys ever saw one of my speeches before, but I like to get down and dirty with the audience. So yeah, the screen thing isn't my favorite, but I am honored to speak to you guys anyway. So yes, both of you, those are great examples of good signs of mental health. Anybody else before I move on, or one more example?
Taking care of your body.
Yes, excellent. Self-care, taking care of your body, your physical body, very good. And also being able to learn and have a good relationship with your friends. Those are also good signs of having good mental health. Well done, guys. Okay, so understanding mental illness. Oh my gosh, there's a difference. Yes, there is. So mental illness is also called mental health disorder. So that's a key thing right there. It's not called mental health, but it's called mental health disorders. And it refers to a wide range of mental health conditions, disorders that affect your mood, thinking, and behavior. So a mental illness can make you miserable and can cause problems in your daily life, such as school, work, relationships. In most cases, symptoms can be managed with a combination of medication and therapy. And so do you get that difference right there? So mental health is also called mental health disorders. It's not called mental health. Um, and so now that we have a bit more understanding of the difference between the two, can we have some examples of mental illness?
Depression, anxiety,
Yeah, excellent.
schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
Does that count? Yeah, that
Yes, I'm
counts.
basically giving you
Schizophrenia.
guys the answers on the screen.
Oh,
But that is totally fine. But yes, those are some examples of mental illness: depression, schizophrenia, bipolar, the PTSD, all of those. Excellent. Good job. So, as I was saying before, I'll ask you guys, is mental health and mental illness the same thing? Hello?
No, it's not.
No, it is not. That is exactly the answer I was looking for. They are two different things, and it's two terms that I think that, well, I don't know you guys, but personally I have interchanged as one or the other. And so I just wanted to share with you guys, just so you're more aware of both of them, of the real differences between the two. And so, as it says, mental health and mental illness are used if they mean the same thing, right? We already uncovered that. 1 in 5 persons have mental health, but 5 in 5 persons have mental illness, but 5 in 5 persons have mental health, which is crazy. When I first saw the statistic, and this statistic was found for adults in the United States. But when I found this statistic, I was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. Because, before I got into this world, I thought it was the same thing. And so when I saw this statistic, I was like, how is that even possible? And now we're uncovering how it's possible, that because they're two different elements. And so in the course of a lifetime, not all people will experience a mental illness like bipolar disease, schizophrenia, PTSD, but everyone will struggle or have a challenge with their mental health. So well-being is another word that you can replace with health if you like to just understand it better. So just the same way we hurt from our physical health, right? We hurt our knee from playing soccer or hurt our arm from doing backstroke and swimming, right? We can hurt our mental health as well, okay? So, and we all have those days. The ways we hurt ourselves is we have those days of being down or stressed out or overwhelmed. And I don't know about you guys, but I definitely have those days, especially being someone who runs more than one business. It's a lot, And an important part of good mental health is the ability to look at problems or concerns realistically. So it's not about saying, oh, I'm so good, I'm happy 24/7, I'm confident 100% of the time. Well, that is a lie. So if anyone tells you that, that is impossible. So you can Just call them out on that in a very loving and respectful way. Because
everybody gets the blues sometimes.
Exactly. I loved how you said that. I love how you just cut in there. Yes, everybody gets the blues sometimes. And that's okay. That is definitely okay. So, but here's a key point here, because I didn't understand this until I did more research, and I was like, if you guys could see me right now, I'm doing an explosion with my hands in my head. So, so it says, just as it's possible to have poor mental health but no mental illness, it's entirely possible to have good mental health even with a diagnosis of a mental illness. So basically, what that means is if you've been diagnosed with anxiety, right? That doesn't mean that you have poor mental health. Does that make sense? Let's just sink that in a bit. Does that make sense?
I think it does kind of make sense, because you can have anxiety, but if you don't do anything about it in terms of figuring out coping mechanisms or taking medication if you need to take medication. So, if you don't do anything about it, you can go down and have bad mental health with a mental illness. But if you're doing something to cope with it and you have some coping strategies, you can live a real good life, even though you have that condition.
Exactly. Yes. Does everybody else understand that concept?
Yes. Yes.
Y'all are smart. Y'all are university students. It took me a while to really grasp it. But yes, exactly. So it's possible to have a mental disorder, but still have good mental health, right? Because it's not like you have anxiety 24/7. You may have episodes of anxiety. So for a day or 2 days or for a couple hours, right? But overall, you still maintain, like the wonderful woman just said, you still can maintain a good, healthy life still with the disorder. Yeah? Excellent. So how many of you think, now that we went through, because some of you probably already knew all of that. Some of you didn't. Some of you, confuse mental illness and mental health as the same thing, like myself. So I asked the question in the beginning, if you suffer from mental health, and that was 50-50. So now that we went over it, the differences of the two, how many of you think you may have a mental illness? And this is just you basically diagnosing yourself, right? Because I'm not a doctor to say, yes, you have it. So this is just fairly on the information that was given to you.
Can you ask the question again, please? I didn't hear that.
Yes, of course. It's on the screen as well. How many of you think you may have a mental illness?
Some people are raising their hands. You can see the raised hand. Instead of like talking out, they're raising their hands.
Oh, I cannot because I'm sharing my screen.
Okay.
Yeah, so the only thing I can see is when somebody talks, their photo comes up.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why it's gonna have to go verbally from now on. Sorry, guys. So is it still 50-50?
100%.
100%. Wow. Okay. Love the vulnerability, guys, and really taking advantage of this safe space that we have. Excellent. So yeah, so there's just, how do I go back? Okay. So this is a photo that I found, which I thought was it's so accurate, to see it that way. We see Band-Aids on our, on our bruises and our cuts and our sores. But, to actually place a Band-Aid on your brain is, for me, it was just a powerful illustration for me. And hopefully for some of you as well. Excellent. Okay, so now we're getting to anxiety. So now we understand the mental health, we understand mental illness, we understand the differences between them. And now we're getting to the next level, which is anxiety and understanding that. So anxiety is your body's natural response to stress, right? We all have stress. Like, honestly, I don't care who you are. You have stress, whether you realize you have it or not, because that actually happens, you have it. For example, this is a real life situation with me. As you've heard in my intro, in my bio, I lived in Chile for the last 5 years, which is in South America, so a Spanish-speaking place. And I went to the doctor on my 3rd year because I didn't digest food the right way. Like I just kept vomiting up or getting pains in my stomach or to certain foods. And so I went to the doctor and she said, and I told her what was happening and how I'm just so done with these symptoms. I was like, okay, what's my problem? Like, tell me what I need to do. And so basically she was like, well, I don't see anything in your blood test or anything. I was like, are you serious? And she was like, yeah. And she goes, well, maybe it's just stress. I was like, hold it right there. Red light. I do not get stressed. And so that was just a wake up. So, okay. So moving on, then I come to the Bahamas because I would come to the Bahamas during the summers and I come back home to the Bahamas and I wouldn't find myself regurgitating my food or vomiting up my food or getting constipation, like all that stuff that I used to have when I was in Chile. And I didn't realize that until I went back to Chile after being in the Bahamas. I was like, wait, hold on, this is crazy. And so then I thought about what the doctor told me about me being I'm stressed, and I was thinking to myself, whoa, maybe I am. And so then I got into this really introspective time because I'm a journaler. I'm an advocate for journaling. I went through this introspective time of asking myself, okay, like, why am I stressed? And I realized that I really was, because I was, long story short, I'm not going to get into it, but I was. And I was like, oh my gosh, this entire time I didn't think I was, but I really was. And so that's just a real life story to tell you guys that, and the reason why I felt like I wasn't, because I was living in denial, is because if you knew me and what if I knew, at that time, knowing myself, I'm just, I'm all about, positivity and being the best self you can be, and self-care routines and activities and all of that, like just all of that, and so I was like, there's no way that I'm a stressful person, but I was in denial. And so I finally got to the point I realized, whoa, I am. And that was just an amazing wake-up call, that I was so stressed that it was affecting my eating. I had a little food disorder because of my stress, and that's just crazy. So having to say that, for those of you who are probably in my shoes that you feel like you're not a stressful person, well, you may be, and stress leads to anxiety. So it is a feeling of fear or apprehension of what's to come. For example, the first day of school, going to a job interview, giving a speech like I'm doing now, but thankfully it's just on Zoom and I don't have to, I get so nervous when I have to do speaking engagements. I love it, but I get so nervous. You guys have no idea. But yeah, so that is just understanding a bit of living with anxiety. Do we all get it before I move on?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Excellent. Any comments that you want to add while we're in here, understanding anxiety?
From the academic side,
Yeah.
my name is Ms. Pratt. I work at UB in residence life, and I also teach Counseling 100. So from the academic perspective, I see students get a lot of anxiety when they're not prepared. Like when they didn't study for an exam and it's coming up, like just lack of preparedness. Sometimes it happens. And so that would bring on the stress that brings on the anxiety. So it's all kind of related. So stress can make you sick on multiple levels.
Yes, indeed. Great example. Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Pratt. Anybody else would like to share a real life example that you would like to share or comment?
Well, at some point, I had extremely terrible anxiety, to the point where I used to have severe panic attacks.
Wow.
It was basically would cut off my air supply. I couldn't breathe. Like I could not expand my lungs to actually get any air into my body. So my anxiety was to the point where it could have possibly killed me if it kept on.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that, because you did not have to. And whew, that's heavy. That's heavy. Do you still have it like that? Is it still that bad?
No, it's not that bad anymore. But sometimes I have my moments, but the panic attacks don't. The panic attacks don't come anymore.
Thank the Lord for that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Wow. I personally have never had it that bad, where I've had panic attacks. It was more of just a scribble of thoughts in my head that have gotten really bad, to a ending thought that no one should ever think of. But I personally haven't had the attacks, the panic attacks. So thank you. What's your name? Because I just see a beautiful photo. I just don't see a name.
Charity.
Charity, what a name! Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. Beautiful face with a beautiful name. Thank you, Charity, for sharing that. Thank you to the both of you. We're going to move on. So if your feelings of anxiety are extreme and last longer than 6 months and interfere with your life, then you may have an anxiety disorder. But we're going to get more into that moving forward. So anxiety disorders. So it is fear, really, really debilitating fear. And this can stop you to do the things that you enjoy. In extreme cases, it may prevent you from entering the elevator, crossing the street, whatever that fear may be. You just panic and you can't go through with it. And again, if you do not treat it, the anxiety will get worse. And I am a prime example of that. I would have episodes, and when I didn't do anything to treat it, I just felt like I was in a prison and I could not get out of my head. Really bad situation. And here are a list on the right of some of the anxiety disorders. Yes. So I guess some of you may or may not relate with some of these disorders. PTSD is what most persons who serve in the military get when they come back home. My brother has suffered from that, and so I've seen that firsthand, and that is not pretty. So yes, okay. So, do you suffer from really bad anxiety where it affects your day-to-day life? Right? So there's having anxiety, but it doesn't really, stop you from doing A, B, and C. But then it's having it really bad where it really affects your movement and your way to function in your daily life. So this is where you guys can say something.
No, I don't know. It never stopped my my movement. It never really stopped my movement. It's just it would probably kick in like specific situations. There would be usually a trigger, so it wouldn't be
a trigger.
It wouldn't be every day. It's oh, I'm anxious about this and anxious about that. It'll be certain triggers that bring it on.
Yes. And so when you have that trigger and you're in the moment of it, and let's just say you were doing homework, does it stop you being able to complete it?
Yes. But I have to fight. Usually we have to fight it so hard.
Yes. I know that. I know that feeling. Thank you for that. Anybody else? Okay, well, I love this graphic that I found, which is this girl in a enclosed space, and using like a wine cork to keep her in. And it says, I want my mind to be clear again. And that's exactly how I feel, you know, when I'm in my episode of anxious behavior. And I just want, sometimes it's even going to bed, you know, I want to fall asleep, or I'm a believer. So I'm just like, Lord, take it all away. I do not have time for these thoughts right now. Like, just, you know, and sometimes it can be very suffocating. So yeah, I just thought that would have been a good illustration to illustrate what some of us think of how we personally feel with anxiety, and for those who've never have anxiety, for them to realize or get some type of illustration of what it is for their friends and loved ones or strangers who may, you know, who struggle with anxiety. So yeah, so that's good illustration. Okay, now we're getting to the good part, the point where I was, reason I was asked to speak, conquer anxiety. So COVID has been something else, hasn't it? How's your mental health been through COVID, and how has it spiked your anxiety during this time, during this lock-in, during having to be locked in on the weekends? I mean, geez, sometimes that just drives me crazy. You can't even walk outside. You gotta stay in your home or your backyard if you have a backyard, and it's been crazy. How about for you guys?
It's the same thing here for me.
Same thing. I hate the lockdown.
Pardon? What was
Yeah,
that?
the lockdown is.
The lockdown, I don't like the lockdown.
Do you mind explaining more toward that?
I mean, I know it's a safe precaution,
Mm-hmm.
and I take it seriously because I know how it affects. I notice how the COVID-19, how it affects people on a daily basis, and I know why they implemented it. So even though it bothers me a little bit, but I really try my best to cope with it.
Awesome. Awesome. Good for you. Thank you for sharing. What's your name? You look beautiful in your Miss Bahamas gown.
Thank you. Merlan Casimir.
Merlan. Geez, you guys have some pretty names. Merlan. Very nice. Thank you for sharing, Merlan. Anybody else?
I mean, it's kind of the same.
Oh, hello there.
Hi. So it's kind of the same.
It's nice to hear from some males.
All right. Hi there. My name is Denavio. It's kind of the same on my end. You know, I always try to keep myself occupied during the lockdowns. But I think for me, last week, I would say I reached my breaking point. I think it was about Wednesday or Thursday where I was just bored out of my mind. No matter what I do, I just kept getting bored to the point where I was like, throwing tantrums, and it was just me once. So I said to myself, you know what, let's just take a walk. We're gonna spin the block for that 90 minutes that the Prime Minister said you can leave the house. Let's just do that.
And how did that help?
I mean, it helped a lot. Like, it eased the anxiety. I don't usually get anxiety, but then I do find myself sometimes, like, I put myself into these really high stress situations where it's almost like your body is almost in this attack mode. Like, I don't like, unlike Charity, I don't get the restricted breathing, but I would say I would probably overheat just a little bit. And I think it's mainly out of, you know, anger sometimes.
Yes.
For me, that would be the thing.
Yes. Wow. Thank you so much. You said your name very quickly in the beginning. Desario or
Denavio.
Denavio. Denavio. Can I call you D?
Sure.
Sorry, you said yes to D?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, D, for that detailed example that you gave the rest of us. And you know, what you did was a coping skill for anxiety, where you said, okay, nothing else works, time to switch it up and try something new. And you know, that's you going outside and moving your physical body, walking and some type of physical bodily movement is a good coping skill for anxiety. So you did the right thing, man. Way to use your 90 minutes well. D. Excellent, excellent. Anybody else want to share another example, or should I move on?
Yeah.
Oh,
I wanted to share something.
yes.
My name is Andrew Butler.
Andrew. Wonderful.
And basically, I'm actually a graduate of 2020 from UB.
Congratulations. That explains the photo.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Right.
Well, my anxiety attack really started like sometimes I find myself not breathing. I have to try hard and desperately to try and breathe. And sometimes for it, I take Panadol pills and others. But the event that really kicked it off was actually the second day of this year. Actually, is when everything started to happen. I was supposed to take my driving test, but unfortunately, I had a driving instructor that was very, very well. It was complicated, and I ended up failing it. And the test took basically all my money I had on my bank account because I saved money from Christmas, so I didn't really short because I wanted to be, hey, I wanted to have money and it was be broke after Christmas, but my child was up, and then when school started, I had classes on Sunday, and I had two classes at the same time on Sundays, and that was really new to me, and that was really boring me because I was supposed to take exams and other things, but I just thank the Lord for getting me through all of that and helping me getting closer and closer to graduation. And my plan was, because last week Thursday was supposed to be our graduation, so it wasn't for COVID, I would off the stage. And my plan was to enjoy, the graduating package and going out to different events and going out to parties for the first time. And right now I'll be, I don't know, working somewhere or just enjoying life and, being free. But um, like everyone, we're stuck at home and nothing to do and just thinking to ourselves. But I took in the time to take each day to read a chapter of the Bible a day and to pray every day, at least before I go to bed, to occupy my time and to take the time to get closer to God. So that has helped me to cope, and I don't have much anxiety attacks as I used to, or pressure or whatever it is I used to have. But, I just try not to watch the news or hear bad news or, think about bad things too long. So I won't go to that episode. But all I can say is just give God thanks and praise, and that's it.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Wow, you guys are amazing with your
Miss Beijing.
Yes,
He made some excellent points just now in terms of overconsumption of news and information.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly what I wanted to point out as well, Miss Pratt. You
Go ahead.
It was too great. I mean, his entire. Thank you so much for sharing parts of your story that you actually didn't have to, but you felt the safe space that we have with each other, especially to the stranger. And I just thank you so much for that, because I know all of us were impacted by your story. All of you. The same thing with you, Dee. So thank you. But yes, sometimes you're just gonna have to take away time from the screen, because, and not just the news screen, but also the Instagram screen. Because if you don't like the news, you go on Instagram and they're posting the exact same things as well. And sometimes you just have to take time and take a sabbatical with your phone. And I'm not just saying that to say that I personally do that. I did that on Saturday, because when I feel that my anxiety gets too much and I just need to rest and be at peace, sorry, phone, you're not a priority. My health is. And so the same thing with you, Andrew, you did the same. And with your coping skill with getting closer with the Lord through reading the Bible and prayer, personally, Hello?
Right? No?
Or is that background? Trista, do you mind just putting your sound on mute? Thank you, thank you. Just because your background's noisy, but when you have something to say, please put it back on. But as I was saying, with the coping skills that Andrew mentioned in regards to getting closer with the Lord with Bible reading and prayer, I too use those skills as well. And at the beginning of COVID, it was really bad. Like my anxiety really bad. And then I realized, what am I missing? What am I not doing? And I realized, oh my gosh, I haven't been in the Word. And so the moment I started like reading the Bible, oh, things changed. Things changed. The atmosphere changed. And so I completely understand your transformation, Andrew, in regards to using that as a coping skill. Thank you so much, you guys, for these comments. We're gonna move on. I am loving it. I honestly wish we were together so I could see you guys. But anyways, hopefully, you know, Miss Deidre could arrange something. We could do like an in-person side of this. But here's a video that I created because I am a YouTuber and that's where I share my message on YouTube. I'm gonna skip through bits and pieces of it, but there are parts of where I share how to cope. And so I just want you guys to watch this, watch a clip of this, okay? Oh, where'd it go? Where did it go? Okay, there we are. You know, personally, I think this is a really hard topic moment because I have a lot of goodies that I'm going to be sharing with you today. Your girl was featured on national television in the Bahamas, so that was super cool. Before we get started, please like this video because it is not talked a lot about at all. It is now more based on content creators where I just help them dominate in the areas. Okay, can everybody see it?
I can hear it, not see it.
Yeah, I can't.
I can't see it.
Oh, y'all can't see it? Okay, do y'all mind if I send y'all the link so you can watch it later?
Sure.
That would be awesome.
But
I'll put it in the chat.
Excellent. But I will still
Beijing, can you just share your video with us?
Yes, of course. After the presentation, I'll share it with you.
Oh, okay.
Or yeah, I think that's better. And so since you can hear it, I'll still play it. And so you could just hear the part that I want you guys to hear. Excellent. Of mental health, self-care, and spiritual growth. Because the world tells us, go, 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 do. We were like, hold on, wait, what's going on? Let's assess what's going on. Am I taking care of myself? Am I breathing right? Am I stretching? Am I meditating? And so I just want to focus more on that things because it is not talked a lot about at all. How have you been staying positive during this quarantine? Staying positive during this quarantine experience in 4 areas in my life. Number one is family time. I've been spending a lot of time with my family, playing games, learning about certain parts of ourselves that we didn't know before. I've also been exercising. When we exercise, we develop endorphins, and that really makes us more happy. And so that's been a great help, as well as routines. Finally, that we have all the time in the day, we're stuck at home. I've put myself in a routine where this time I do this, I do that. And I know that sounds strict, but that actually makes you more productive in having a fulfilled day. Because if you just wake up and you say, oh, okay, there's nothing to do today, you're prone to thinking about certain things that you don't even thinking about. You're wasting time watching social media. And the last one is I've had more time to implement to all of those things have contributed to Okay, so were we able to hear that?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah. Part for me.
Pardon?
At the ending part for me, some background noise is interrupting. I don't know whose mic it is.
Yeah, if somebody's mic is having that background noise, you can try muting it until you want to contribute to our community, just because it's hard for other people to hear what's being said. So if you think that's you, then just mute it. Awesome sauce. Okay, so I think Charity, you were sharing something.
No, that's what I was saying just now about the mic. Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. Was somebody else saying something about the video and what they thought? No. Okay, cool. Excellent. So those are just some that was just a clip that I shared with ZNS because ZNS asked me to share some of the positive things that I've been doing in quarantine to combat, you know, anxiety, persons who struggle with anxiety or mental illness. And so that was a video clip that I shared with them when I was featured on national television. Excellent. So now we're to what are some coping skills for anxiety? So some of us have already shared some of the skills, like Dee and Andrew have shared along with myself as to, you know, how do we cope with it? And that's why I put a sun, right? Because coping is something positive, and that's something that we can all smile about. So whether I can see you or not, because I can't, can everyone just smile right now? Can you just smile? Just smile. And then say, I smiled once you smiled. I know it's silly, but it's okay to be silly in life. That's what keeps life interesting. So if you smiled, can you just say, I smiled?
I
I
smiled.
smiled.
Yay! That just made, oh, y'all should see my smile right now. And y'all probably are smiling too. So it's crazy. And so that, you know, that is a chemical reaction that just automatically makes you feel good, which is a nice thing when you just smile, even when you don't even want to. So when I'm in a bad mood or someone tells me to do something, I'm like, don't you see me doing something? And I'm just like, okay, just smile. And then my whole entire mood changes and I'm happy to serve. It's fascinating. Y'all should try it sometime. Okay, anxiety treatments. So, number one, if it's really bad, you guys, or not even bad, you just kind of want to get diagnosed, but you want to talk to a professional first, then you want to see a mental health doctor or therapist. That's exactly what I did when it was getting really bad. So that is a personal, something personal that I actually went through. And the reason why is because they know more than you do, right? They went to school for it. They studied it. So they can give you the usage, the strategies, and the tools that you need to cope with anxiety when it happens, when you have your episode. And then the second way is taking medication. And the medication for that is antidepressants and sedatives. Cannot speak on that because I have not taken medication for anxiety. But from those who I know have, it has helped them tremendously, especially function through their day-to-day life. Like I mentioned prior into this presentation, whether it stops you, whether anxiety stops you from functioning in your day-to-day life. Well, if it was yes, maybe, you know, medication will be a solution for you, but you can't go on it until you see a doctor. And then overall, in moderate or severe cases, like I said prior, treatment is needed because it'll help you overcome the symptoms to live a manageable day-to-day life. Do we agree?
I agree.
Great. Thanks,
Yes,
Andrew.
I agree.
Excellent. Excellent. Thanks, guys. Okay, so I am all about trying to find the natural ways to, you know, do things because I don't want to put like a bunch of things in my body. So I would usually try the natural remedies before I would, you know, put a medication in my body, but that's just me. So I just wanted to, you know, give some examples for you guys. And on the right, these are some of the natural remedies, the coping skills, as we would say. staying active, working out, taking a walk, meditating, getting enough sleep, avoiding alcohol and caffeine, and smoking cigarettes, and trying to maintain a healthy diet. You can say, can every person just, well, not every person, if you feel that if you at least do some of these things, that you've put some of these changes in your life, that they're a part of your life, can you just say like what you do to cope from anxiety?
I work out 5 times a week. It was something
Whoa,
that was
gee, can I get like you when I grow up?
yeah, so that was recommended by my therapist because she expressed that every time we work out, although we put our body under stress, we also release endorphins
Exactly.
to relax our body.
That's exactly what I said in my video. So yes, correct, Dee. Proud of you. Anybody else?
Listen to music.
Hey, I hope it's positive, relaxing music. It's not bam, 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 shoot, bam, bam. If that made any sense. But yes, Leticia, music can be a great way, definitely. So thank you, Leticia and Dee. Thank you for sharing. And so I don't know if you knew, but there are also foods that help with treating anxiety as well. For me, I drink morning talk. I was gonna say toxic. That cancel out everything I'm about to say. A morning tonic every morning. It includes turmeric, lemon, black pepper, apple cider vinegar, and hot water. Because that really helps with your immune system and boosts your immune system, and has a lot of other amazing properties for you as well. And as you can see, turmeric is one of the 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 foods in treating anxiety, as long as salmon, chamomile, which is tea. You can put the chamomile in tea. I'm also an avid tea drinker. I gave up coffee on March 1st. So your girl, today's June 1st. I am 90 days free of coffee. So proud of myself. Green tea, that's my bad boy. Love drinking green tea. I drink that almost every day. Can't drink yogurt because I'm not good with dairy, and I don't really like dark chocolate. But if you get my point, so these are some of the foods that you should incorporate into your diet to help treat your anxiety, and it's healthy for you, so why not? They all have some property of antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, or vitamin D. Yeah? Sound good? Sound good?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Excellent.
ma'am.
Excellent. I just want to make sure I'm not talking to the screen. Make sure that I'm talking to human beings. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay. So you are not alone and not the only one living with it. Everyone around you does, even me. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. So if you were ashamed of it, because I was for a very long time. And then first time I said it publicly was on national television on ZNS, and I was like, what in the world? But I didn't realize it until like a week later. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I decided I'm really passionate about this. Society needs to speak more of it and more normalize it. But I do speak more about that in my videos. So when I send the link, you can check it out and comment a storm on it and have your own thoughts and hopefully be inspired and more empowered about it and not ashamed of it. Okay. And so this is another video that I have where content creators, so content creator is anyone who creates content, self-explanatory, on YouTube, on Instagram, social media, blogging, videos, anyone who creates content. I interviewed them, asked them a few questions of what it's like living with a mental health, living with poor mental health, or living with as a content creator, right? Because it could really get in the way of your work. And so, hearing their answers really helped me realize, like, whoa, like people that I know and work with every day, well, not every day, because I work with them every day. My friends, who are also content creators, they have it too, and just to hear their stories. So I'm going to send that link in the chat as well. Would you guys like the link to this video as well? I'm not going to play it now because it makes no sense, but would you guys like that link as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure.
Yes.
Great. Excellent. Excellent. Oh, shoot.
I said
Oh, okay. Moving on. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. I never used to believe that, but now I do. And point blank, it's okay not to be okay. That's life. What is okay, what is needed is that we have the courage to confide in someone when we're not doing okay. Especially if you're not ready to see a professional, at least confide in someone. Do we agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Excellent, excellent. Love it, love it. And let's get well together. So this is the end of my presentation. If you guys thought I was weird and don't want anything to do with me, that's totally fine. It is still amazing to meet your acquaintance. If you would like to continue with this conversation, you can always email me, beijing.rodgers@gmail.com, and then, or you can follow me on Instagram. So easy. Beijing Rodgers. You just like to, I don't know, talk more about it, or I don't know, just talk to me because you want a friend. I can be your friend. No problem. But that is it. I hope that my presentation has impacted you in some way. It was a pleasure to give it. I didn't realize how much but I'm grateful for you guys being honest and vulnerable with what you shared. That is priceless. That is priceless. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in and staying all the way to the end. Hope to see you guys in person. That'd be
Thank you for your presentation, Beijing. And so if we have any questions, please feel free to ask.
So now you can actually see my face. Thank you, DJ.
So let me see if I can unmute you guys. If you have any questions, go ahead. We're all ears.
I think I missed the part where you would have given your introduction. I was a bit late, but can you please go over your, I guess, expertise with dealing with anxiety?
Oh, that's exactly what I said I wasn't, which is really funny. I introduced myself as I am Beijing, and I am no expert in mental health disorders, just because, I'm not trained, or I haven't, professionally studied in it in regards to university, but I do, struggle with it, and I don't think you have to be an expert to bring awareness to it. So I am an advocate in mental health. So, and I think DJ saw my work with it recently in regards to my YouTube channel, which is one of the places where I share my message. And so she thought that I'd be a good candidate for this topic. So I'm honored. Thank you. And, and yeah, so that was
Oh,
the
that's
introduction
great.
that you
Thank
may
you
have
for sharing your
missed.
story.
Of course.
Any other
Voice sounds
questions?
familiar.
Yes, I just have a question. I love the presentation,
Oh,
Miss
thank
Rodgers.
you.
Very well done. I too came a little bit late. I just wanted to ask, I hear when you say you lived in Chile, but you come to the Bahamas during the summer. I just was wondering, where exactly are you from?
Oh, okay. So I used to live in Chile the last 5 years. And when I did live in Chile, I would come home for the summers. So just like if you studied abroad in the US or Canada or England, you come home for the summer. So that's what I did. But I'm born, bred, dead, Bahamian. Bahamian is my life. Bahamian. Bahamas is my life. I fought on the streets of Rosin Square for my country. So yeah. Forever that to be twisted. I'm going to say that I sent of the videos that were in the going over. If you have anything to share regarding the content, and yeah, if you feel like it to a friend, then share it as well. But yeah, so the videos are there. Do what you like with it.
Any other questions, guys?
Only thing I want to say is I'm looking forward to watching your videos.
Thank you, Andrew. Oh, I love it.
Okay, great. So if we have no further questions, we'll end our session for today. And we just want to give a very special thank you to Miss Beijing Rodgers for
Well, if nobody has any
Go ahead, sorry, you were saying something?
Oh no. I think our Wi-Fi's are like after each other or something. But I just want to say, because I said if nobody else has further questions, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you so much, you guys. I just wanted to reiterate that I just loved how vulnerable and honest you guys were during this session. It would not have gone the way it was if it wasn't for you, all of you. So thank you. Honestly, thank you. Y'all are incredible and inspiring. Okay, now I'm done. Miss DJ, please close us all out.
Thank you so much. If there's no further questions, we just want to emphasize the importance of taking care of yourself. I know this is a very challenging time for all of us, and especially as students, we want you to take care of yourself, take care of your mental health, and try to conquer those issues or challenges that you may be facing. But Miss Rodgers, we just want to thank you again for your presentation. You always do an excellent job, and we look forward to working with you in the future. So, with that being said, we can log off. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Love you to participate in our upcoming sessions. You're taking a picture?
Yeah, I am. Totally forgot.
Okay, take the picture and send it to me.
Okay, I will. Okay. Sorry, that wasn't a really good one. If everyone could just stay put. It's horrible lighting. Lighting is so bad. Awesome. Thank you so guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys, and we look forward to seeing you guys again.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye.